I set out to figure out which washing machine to install on my sailboat. And to be honest, there's a serious lack of comparative information out there helping me decide how to most efficiently wash clothes on the sailboat. Sailing Totem has an article. YouTube is filled with influencer style videos of people hugging washing machines, and forums are awash with different opinions. But I spent a few days on it, and this is what I found: what works, what doesn't, and what uses way too much power and water. I was really worried at first because there are so many stories on the internet about washing machines on boats, like this one. We tried to run a Splendide on an inverter and had too many problems: hot or cold water. If you don't have the means to run it off the engine alternator or don't have a Jenny, then you might as well go to a wash tub or bucket. That's what we did: sold the washer and went back to the old way. Many real people, not influencers, have found the washing machine uses way too much water and power to comfortably use it while cruising, and went back to the bucket washing method that I use now. The main draw of any electricity on board, as we know, is heating or cooling anything. The fridge, freezer, the AC. Anytime you want to change the temperature of something, it uses a tremendous amount of power. So for me, I want to avoid heating water or using hot air to dry clothes. The Splendide models seem to demand hot water and electricity to dry clothes, and in most of my reading, most cruisers forego the use of any kind of clothes dryer at all, instead opting to hang the clothes to dry to save the electricity, and I think I'm good with that process. Splendide also has two dryer models: a vented model that uses vast amounts of electricity to blow hot air through the wet clothes, and it needs a stack vent drilled in the deck, or the unvented model that uses even more water that it turns into steam to dry the clothes, using vast amounts of water. In my research, I also found that while some brands demand using their own internal water heater, others will allow you to plumb hot water to the machine from your boat's water heater, while others will let you just run cold cycles. I run cold cycles at home, and that works fine for me. Another cruiser said they had the Candy Aquamatic machine, and before installing it, they opened it up and disconnected the heater element, making the machine always use cold water, drastically reducing the electricity draw. YouTube is awash with influencer-style videos showcasing these mini machines too, so I dove into that. Our friends over on Atticus installed one and they seemed to love it, so I watched hours of install videos. It's complicated putting a washing machine on a boat. First, the machine is small and it's wall mounted, so creative sailors have found places to put these things on sailboats, and that's super cool. But the drum size is fairly small. You won't be washing much bedding in here, but for daily clothes, no problem. The electricity can be tricky though. Atticus got a 240 volt model and needed to run a 120 to 240 transformer to make it work.
Okay, no leaks. Well, that right there, it's gonna change our lives. I can't even begin to express how awesome this is, that we are washing clothes without having to do it manually on the boat.
Wash cycles apparently use between 20 and 30 12 volt amp hours, which isn't all that much. The unit must also be plumbed to fresh water, of course, and then drained somewhere. Many people drain to the bilge, but that creates a good environment for smelly, rotting bilge water, so I'd rather plumb it overboard, but would rather not drill another hole in the boat. Some folks run them to a T on the sink drain, and I think that would work for me, provided you use biodegradable, environmentally safe soap. These mini units seem to be all the rage because they're cheaper, about $1,000, than buying a large residential style washer dryer combo that you see on some fancy boats. But they use less water and less electricity, but the pain of installation is holding me back, and I may just not have enough room for one of these. But then I stumbled across our friends over on Sailboat Story, and they use this.
We are no longer completely reliant on saving up huge bags of laundry and then washing them at a laundromat. We actually have a washing machine now. Isn't that crazy?
Commonly available for about $100, all plastic, hard to break, with no installation needed. Now, it's a little more rudimentary than those machines that mount on the wall. These dual chamber units have been around for decades, and everyone who I've found who has one has been using it for years, some people more than a decade, and the machine still works without a problem. I like that for sailboat living. The unit can be stored when not in use, and then when you need it, deployed wherever there's water and drainage available. It runs off a 120-volt plug and just plugs into an outlet. And then you can either supply it with water through a line so it can fill and refill itself automatically, or you can use a faucet to fill it yourself manually. I can see using this in the cockpit and using my stern shower to fill it. Once full, add a small amount of environmentally safe soap and set the timer. About 10 minutes usually works well from everyone's experience that I've found. You can add hot or cold water depending on what you want to do and let the machine do the work. Then when it's time to drain, if you use all those environmentally safe products, you can just send it overboard through a scupper. A rinse cycle, and again, you control the amount of water used. Another drain, and then you move the clothes over to the spin side for drying. This is where the machine gets a little rowdy, but the amount of water it extracts is impressive. Then hang all the clothes to dry as planned and put the machine back wherever you kept it until the next time you need it. This uses the least water and the least electricity of all the machines. It requires no installation, no plumbing, no risk of smelly bilge, no risk of leaks in water lines behind the cabinetry, and no wiring. Now, my boat has the power through 600 amp hours of battery, 3000 watts of inverter, and 550 of solar to actually run one of the mini machines or even a larger unit, but I don't carry enough water. In all, I carry 60 gallons, which gets me through for about 2 weeks of very frugal water use when living aboard. The Splendid style machines use between 10 and 18 gallons per load, or almost a third of my total water supply. The mini machines can use as little as 5 gallons. Now, all that said, many cruisers use the bigger machines at shore power, and if that's the plan with unlimited water and power at the dock, then by all means get the biggest machine that you can fit in your boat. That makes sense to me. But my boat is never actually plugged in. Even in its slip, I just don't bother because the only thing running is the fridge and the solar easily accommodates that. What washing machine are you using and what have you found for water and power consumption? There's such a lack of solid information out there. I hope you all will leave comments with your experience for the next person to read when they come along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.